Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 434. Tomb and Bounty. She knows? Klein was overjoyed, and quickly asked, Where? In his heart, he was already prepared to pay the consultation fee. Sharon sat there without moving and said, like a talking doll, In one of the gatherings that Merrick participated in, someone once discovered the tomb of an ancient noble. They explored the periphery but didn't dare to venture deep, but there were traces of human skin shadow activity. They hoped to recruit a team strong enough to completely explore the tomb and split the valuables equally. To seek help in a gathering of Beyonders who are not familiar with each other, how can all parties guarantee each other's credibility? What if there's no tomb at all, and it's just a trap? Klein quickly thought and asked in response, Did they succeed? Yes, Sharon answered simply. Klein temporarily didn't pursue the details. He suppressed his voice to avoid being overheard by the carriage driver. And then? After that, they never appeared again. Sharon calmly recounted. One of the members was a friend of Merrick's, and he disappeared completely after that matter. Without waiting for Klein to ask, she continued to speak with her ethereal voice. Merrick found some of his friend's belongings. I used a method of divination to track them down to White Cliff Town, and I found a hidden entrance to the tomb at the riverbend of the Stratford River. Merrick's friend was inside, but he was already dead. You went in? Klein blurted out. No, I determined it using another method, Sharon explained. That tomb gave me a sense of great danger. I didn't try to explore it. At this point, she looked at Klein with her blue eyes. Without the help of a sequence 4 Beyonder or a sealed artifact of a corresponding level, it would be best not to venture deep into that tomb. Even you find it very dangerous. I don't need to go above the gray fog to divine it to know how terrifying it is. Klein looked down at the floor of the carriage and thought for a few seconds. Do you know which ancient noble's tomb it belongs to? Sharon did not pause in her reply. His last name is Amon. Amon? A member of the family of that Amon who had possessed Little Son's body and almost sneaked into the mysterious space above the gray fog? Klein used his ability as a clown to control the slight twitch of his eyelids. He asked in puzzlement, Are you sure? At this moment, a figure appeared in his mind, a black classic robe, a matching pointed hat, a broad forehead, a thin face, black eyes, black hair, and a crystal monocle. Sharon's pale blonde hair shone through the mist like an oil painting drawn by a master, and she said in her usual flat tone, According to the items obtained from the initial exploration, a member of the gathering who specializes in ancient history determined that the owner of the tomb came from the Tudor dynasty of the 4th epoch. The family name is Amon. It really is the blasphemer family of the 4th epoch. This family isn't cursed like the Abraham family, nor was it destroyed directly by the church of a certain goddess like the Antigonus family. According to the special and powerful performance Amon showed in the City of Silver, the situation of this family might be comparable to that of Zeratl's. They were all secretly passed down, with the presence of high-sequence Beyonders among their ranks, perhaps even with powerful angels. They protect certain crucial secrets, such as the coordinates of the forsaken land of God. The danger of a tomb left behind by such a family can be imagined. Perhaps Amon can borrow the power of certain changes to cast his gaze over from the distant forsaken land of God. I can't use the perspective of a low or mid-sequence Beyonder to deduce the terror of a demigod. Klein didn't ponder for long before denying the possibility of exploring the tomb of the Amon family. Slightly disappointed, he looked up at Sharon. Is that place the only place with a human-skinned shadow? Sharon shook her head. No. Klein's eyes lit up, and he assumed a listening posture. Sharon said, her voice unchanged. I've participated in a gathering. A Beyonder promised that as long as someone completes a mission given by her, she would satisfy any reasonable request. When it comes to ingredients, it is limited to those below that of high-sequence Beyonder ingredients. In other words, she can give any Beyonder ingredient below that of high-sequence Beyonders? The first thought that came to Klein's mind was, is she bragging? Even for the Church of Evernight, only the Holy Cathedral, or in other words, the Cathedral of Serenity, would possess such a possibility. Many of these ingredients weren't commonly needed because they weren't needed at all. Upon hearing Klein's question, Sharon calmly replied, "She's a high-sequence beyonder." High-sequence beyonder? No wonder. That would be on the level of the high-ranking members of the churches or secret organizations. Even if they don't belong to any party, they would still build up their own faction. However, the promise of any type of beyonder ingredient below a high-sequence potion definitely can't be completely met. Klein momentarily had such a thought. Sharon simply added, "She said that certain ingredients would require a certain period of time." "That's more like it," Klein asked with interest. "What mission did she give?" Sharon sat up straight and dignified. "Investigate Hero Bandit Black Emperor's true identity." Klein believed that if he had been drinking water at that moment, then he wouldn't have been able to control himself, and that he would have sprayed it across from him. Who did I offend? Why am I the target of a high-sequence beyonder? He first lamented in Chinese, then he quickly analyzed the possible parties. Members of the Twilight Hermit Order? Because the Hero Bandit Black Emperor had killed the Desire Apostle, Beria? Members of the Aurora Order? They drew links to the Fool from the tarot cards I left during the Capim incident, and they decided to investigate the Hero Bandit Black Emperor? Members of the three churches and MI9? Just to find out the truth about the Capim affair? Every one of them is possible, and none of them can be ruled out. Klein didn't show any abnormalities as he deliberated and asked, "Why is she investigating the true identity of the Hero Bandit Black Emperor?" "No one knows," Sharon replied in the simplest of terms. Klein thought for 2 seconds and said after organizing his words, "What kind of person is she? I want to know if I should take this mission." Sharon remained silent for 2 seconds, seemingly in recollection. Then she described, "Female, above 1.70 meters tall, very well proportioned, chestnut hair, was disguised, loves black leather boots, only occasionally attended the gatherings, and first appeared 2 months ago." Loves wearing black leather boots, female, high-sequence beyonder. When these 3 keywords were put together, it immediately triggered a certain part of Klein's memories. Back when he went to the Royal Museum to steal the Black Emperor card, he had met a mysterious high-sequence beyonder in the reconstructed study of Emperor Roselle. She only revealed her feet in black leather boots, and when he borrowed the power of the Grey Fog to escape, he ended up running into the Devil Dog due to the side effects of the Master Key and had to shout for help. Therefore, Sherlock Moriarty ended up meeting the female demigod again. Her? Why would she look for Hero Bandit Black Emperor? She's confirmed that the thief who stole the card of blasphemy is a spirit body and knows what would happen if a spirit body carries and contains the Black Emperor card. Hence, she has locked onto the Hero Bandit Black Emperor who has similar traits. Klein quickly thought of a very convincing possibility. The only thing that confused him was how the other person knew that he had taken the Black Emperor card and not any other cards, such as the Abyss card or the Sun card. Unless she was targeting the card of blasphemy, and she had investigated beforehand that it was the Black Emperor card. Well, Miss Sharon said that she joined the gathering for the first time more than 2 months ago. This matches the timing of Roselle's exhibition. Later, she occasionally participated without leaving Backlund, or perhaps, she returned regularly to search for the enemy who had taken the Black Emperor's card. Klein's thoughts blazed through his mind as he gave a faint smile. "I'll keep an eye out for her. I hope there's something to be gained. She can forget about getting anything her entire life," he added inwardly without hesitation. Sharon nodded almost imperceptibly and said nothing more about the human-skinned shadow. Obviously, she only had 2 leads, but it was still better than the vampire Emlyn White and Eye of Wisdom Isengard Stanton's circle. Klein slowly exhaled, concealing his inward disappointment, and said with a respectful tone, "You and Merrick aren't troubled by the curse anymore, are you?" "There's only one scarlet lunar corona," Sharon answered calmly. "The person who wore the scarlet lunar corona was immune to the full moon's effects, a dream item for mutants. That is to say, one will be fine, and one will be in the same situation as before. When affected by the full moon, Merrick will be driven to insanity, while Miss Sharon will lose her strength. It appears Merrick is the one using it, Klein thought as he changed topics. Have you found a way to remove a rampager's mental corruption on the Beyonder characteristic left behind by Ray, Steve? He casually asked this question without much hope. In his heart, he believed that there was a greater chance with the son. No. Sharon appeared like she was talking about someone else. Perhaps I will sell you this method in the future and hope that you have saved up your gold pounds. Klein tersely acknowledged and was suddenly unsure of how to continue the conversation. He paused for a few seconds before asking, Where is White Cliff Town? Backlund suburbs, south of the bridge, Sharon answered succinctly. She looked into Klein's eyes again. Nothing else? Nothing. Klein first shook his head, and then asked, Can I tell others about the tomb? Sure. Sharon's figure rapidly faded before she disappeared from the carriage. Perhaps it was to conceal herself, as she never had the habit of using perfume, thus leaving behind an empty environment once more.